morning, everyone. Welcome to Since Day One's Family's Kitchen. This is Chef Robin Lewis, cooking since day one. Welcome. First, I want to give a shout out to all of our friends. That would be hard, but let me start with just a few. We say hello and give love and a shout out to Pastor Mark and Tina Eichen with 12 Stone Church, our family. Jolyn Shay, and she's one of the housewives of Tequila. She's been on the show. We love and miss you guys, and good luck, Cole, going back to college. And hi, Mr. Jim. And we say hi to Kathy Parnham and Dylan and Dean, the Parnham family. She's another housewife of Tequila. Been on the show. She also has made this fabulous apron for me, all decked out in black and gold, the colors of Since Day One, and she's bejeweled and bedazzled it for me. And so I'm wearing that in honor of her. Rhonda, Sharon House Parks, Samantha Parr. Gosh, there's so many people, so if we don't get to name you all, I'm sorry. And Teresa McDonald, yeah, she's our in-house beauty queen. So what I'm gonna make tonight, that I have right here, is I figured, because since it's summertime, I want to do something that's fresh and local, and that would be peaches. So I'm gonna make a traditional peach cobbler with just a little culinary twist on it. My secret ingredients are going to be passion fruit juice that I'm going to reduce down, and a little bit of apricot, or you can use peach schnapps in there, just to give it a little depth and different nuances. These are actually from South Carolina. The Georgia peaches, I'm sorry, Georgia, were really small. They didn't look good. So with your cobbler, you can choose to keep the skin on if you like. I tend to like to peel it and take it off. And then there's most cobblers out there show it sliced. I actually kind of like to cut it into large chunks, and you'll see more to dice it. It's easier to eat on the spoon, and then the slices at the ends tend to get kind of wimpy and soft. So to me, the dice is cooked much more consistently. And you use canned peaches. They're already retorted, so the texture is always very soft. I would not choose to use that. Can you use frozen peaches? Yes, but you need to drain them, because once you freeze them, you break the cell structure and they tend to purge out a lot of liquid. The reason why you want to kind of pre-cook your peaches is most of the time your topping is going to cook faster than that, and you don't want to overcook it and have hard and crunchy peaches. Let's get started. So what I have here is 9 large peaches. I'm actually going to peel them, and I'm going to do my chop on them. I have a cup of passion fruit juice that I'm going to put in the pan and reduce down. I have some butter that I'm going to saute the peaches in. I have vanilla and baking powder, and that actually goes with the topping. I have a little bit of cinnamon, my peach schnapps. I have turbinado sugar, and then this is what's going to go on top while it's baking. It'll kind of give that big glassy, crystal, chunky, crunchy top to the top of the cobbler. I have a little bit of lemon juice. The acidity to bring out, to kind of balance the peaches, especially if they're really sweet. Now, you don't want really hard peaches. They're not going to give out any juice. It's not going to be very flavorful, and you don't want them so soft that you can push in and bruise them. Again, because those will cook too fast versus the pastry on top. So these are right in the middle. They kind of almost just want to give a little bit. And I had to pick through about 300 peaches today to find them. Let's see what else. I have a little bit of cornstarch here and my apricot brandy. You can use peach brandy. I like the apricot. It gives like a subtle nutty note to it, but peach brandy is fine. So let's get to peeling these. Now, what I'm gonna do before I forget is I'm actually gonna make my garnish for it when we go to plate it. So I'm just gonna just make a few little slices on this one, like this. And just cut them in half. One more, and this is pretty. See how I was saying it gets red towards the center? So I'm gonna save these. I'm gonna put them in a wet paper towel. They're pretty fragile and you don't want them to start browning. So I'm just gonna wet that a little bit, put them in there. Fridge right here. I am gonna put on a pot and start to reduce my passion fruit juice. So I'm gonna pretty much try to reduce this at least by half. So it gives a nice acidity and brightness to it. So if you wanted to add blueberries to it, like a blueberry peach cobbler, just a few blueberries in there. Another thing you could add that's really good is raspberries. They're gonna add kind of that little bit of tartness to it. Turn this down just a little bit. It smells wonderful. It's one of my favorite things. And I also like to put passion fruit. My other secret is in cherry pie. Oh my gosh, it just makes, it's really good. This is what it looks like as it's boiling down. So it'll get a little more syrupy and thicker. So we're just gonna let that reduce down a little bit. So we're gonna add about 3 tablespoons because I love butter. So, see, and this is why it's called freestone. Look how easily the flesh comes off of it, and it's very pink at the middle. The clingstones are very hard to get out, but this pretty much pulls away pretty easily. Okay, so let's check on this reduction. This is going well. It's basically going to concentrates the sweetness and it concentrates the passion fruit flavor. So I'm going to turn this on so we can get this butter melted. I kind of want to try to make them consistent in size. It's kind of like anything, you want it to all cook evenly. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these in. This is a fairly large saute pan. We have our butter in there. I have a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Now, some people use white sugar, some use brown. I kind of like the depth of flavor of the brown sugar, and I like the color. I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of my cinnamon. And sprinkle that in. And sauteing this is definitely going to bring out the flavor of cinnamon. There's volatile oils in it. Most cinnamons have 1.5 to 3% oil in them. The higher the oil content, the more expensive they are. So we're going to do that. And I have my lemon juice, a big spoon. That. Beautiful. is the tablespoon of the apricot schnapps with my lemon juice, and I'm just going to put my cornstarch in here, kind of make a slurry. So if you add the cornstarch to the hot peaches, it's going to ball up on you. Definitely need to be under about 120 degrees before you add the starch. So this is good here. I'm going to add just a dash of salt. Salt's a natural flavor enhancer, so it will help bring out the peaches. And it looks like I'm shaking it a lot, but this is a little clogged, so I'm just adding just a small amount because there's a lot of sweetness going on with this. I'm going to add this is my reduction of the passion fruit. And now I'm going to add this in and just stir it over. And it's going to look a little thick because the juices aren't coming out of the peaches. So we're going to turn this off just for a minute. A little bit of brandy left in there. Got the lemon juice. I'm just going to grab one to kind of taste it. Most chefs, you see, kind of keep going as they go, meaning taste as they go to see how each layer of the dish is coming along. So this isn't terribly sweet at all. I'm going to turn this off. I wish I had a little more schnapps. Oh, I do. Wish granted. So we need 2 tablespoons of schnapps. There, give it a mix. The lemon juice level is good. You know, you're going to get sweetness from the pastry as well. So, let's try to get away. This is good. Again, it looks a little bit starchy, but all of the fruit have not released its juice, and the sugar will help with that as well. So that part's ready. What we're going to do now is make the topping for it. Can everybody see? I'll dump it this way. Look how beautiful that is. Awesome. Okay, so we're just going to let that sit for a minute. The first thing that we're going to do with this topping is we're going to take a half a stick of butter and melt it. So I have a 1/4 cup of turbinado sugar. That's what's going to go on top when it's almost baked all the way. I have a cup of flour, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, and a teaspoon of baking powder. So here's our melted butter. Basically all of this is just going to come together. We're going to put this in a bowl. And we're going to add the liquids, basically the vanilla. We're going to mix the sugar. Baking powder. So I'm not going to try to mix that with the whisk because it's going to just get stuck in there too much. So this is just going to kind of mix this until it becomes like a cookie dough. This is what it will look like. That's a pretty stiff cookie dough. I think it's missing is the eggs and the chocolate chips. Big. And you can mix the salt in with the flour just to make sure it's really evenly distributed. You don't want to mix this too much because you don't want to develop the gluten in it. That's the protein part of the flour. Okay, so this looks pretty good. So you can, this is a little bit thick, but you can choose basically, we're just going to kind of pinch this and crumble it almost like a, a topping. So when we get this in the oven, we're going to have a little time while this bakes to
answer questions.
Yeah, answer questions, yes, and also to I'm going to make a drink, of course. I have to make a drink because that's what we do. And again, I'm going to just kind of hone in on the summertime. Pick a nice light fruity. So this is what it looks like. And again, after about 20, so I have the oven set at 350. We're going to bake it for about 25 minutes. We're going to pull it out. We're going to put our turbinado sugar on it for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to turn the broiler on just to kind of crisp up the top. So we have the oven ready. Here we go. Put that in. You don't want it at the bottom of the oven because you don't want to burn the peaches. So we're going to set our kitchen timer for 25 minutes. So basically we have everything in, so didn't take too long. All right, so I'm actually going to make a Black Cherry Martini, and I'll show you my glasses in a minute. But I have this effin Black Cherry vodka. It's from Holland. It's cherry and vanilla flavored, and it's, I wish you could smell it.
Let us smell it.
Take a big whiff. Take a big whiff. Smell it, babe.
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to put in, this is about an ounce and a half. We're going to put in about 3 ounces of vodka. I like kind of to do a 1 to 3 with vodka to juice. Ooh, that was fast. Look at that. Yeah. Not edited. Oh, the spill.
That's the realness of it.
Yeah.
That's what we like.
So if there's 2 of those, we're going to go with 6 of these. Actually, 6. And I'm going to put in the juice of a whole lime because I really like the tartness with it. And I have some beautiful summer cherries. You can also use the Rainier cherries. They would really stand out in the glass. You know, they're the yellow ones with just little pink tones. And then I'm going to add some ice here. You have to be fast. The metal tends to want to expand, and then you can't get the lid off, and that's bad. These are the glasses that I wanted to show you. got them for my birthday, and I love them. They're etched light crystal, and they're really thick and heavy. Because, you know, the more you drink martinis, the more you have a chance to tip them over or they get broken in the dishwasher. I actually got these on Amazon, and I just love them. So I have these really beautiful summer cherries. We're almost at the end of the season, which makes me want to cry. So I'm gonna put one down in each glass like that, and then we're just gonna pour this. And oh, it's a beautiful thing. So I can still have the flavor in the summer of the summertime, which I love. And you can garnish it with a little lime wedge if you like. We can also just put the wedge, we can just cut it like this and set it on the edge, like that. And that looks really nice. Put it like that, and it sits really pretty. So cheers.
And what is called?
This is a Black Cherry Martini.
Cheers to all our friends.
And I'm gonna get out a couple, just blueberries and raspberries to garnish the plate with. I'm gonna give these a quick wash. Let them drain. We're just gonna pick out a few really pretty firm ones and dry them. And these will look beautiful garnishing the ice cream. This is Palo Alto Coffee. It's from Panama. It's from the western side, near Mount Baru, and Bocate is the town that it's grown in. So this coffee actually was started back in 1895 by Frank Tedman, and in 1895, so he moved to this area of Panama, started growing at 4,000 feet. So the 10th highest mountain is in the South America is this Mount Baru. So that's 11,400 feet is the point of that. It's actually a volcano. But the grounds, the plantations for the coffee is at about 4,000 feet. So they grow Arabica beans, and it's only about literally 60 miles from Costa Rica. And by 1915, so it took him 20 years, but he was finally able to export his coffee, and it became very well known in Germany as a very high quality coffee. And so he got a partner in 1925, the McIntyre family, who came from Canada. He was a politician, and helped him. So they've been making this coffee for 3 generations. So it's really cool. It's sold, this is ground, but you can get it in whole bean. But it actually has a little vent here that you can press like this, and then you can smell the coffee. And there's no bitterness to it. It actually smells very chocolatey, which I love, because chocolate and coffee go really well together. So we're actually gonna brew a cup. They don't recommend freezing coffee. Coffee's grown in a warm environment. Really the best temperature for coffee to be stored at is room temperature. But the way they actually do is they don't even put on their package to brew it through a machine. They basically want you to use water that's not chlorinated, and put it in a strainer like this, and then pour the water through in a circular pattern, which is what we're gonna do. WilliamPriceFineArt.com is the website you can go to where you can buy this coffee. It's $15 for this bag, which is just slightly under a pound. So, and like I said, you can get it in the whole beans, which again will hold their flavor much better. But if you don't have a grinder, you know, you can use the ground. It also makes excellent espresso if you have an espresso machine as well. So here I'm gonna heat up some water. Alright, so I'm just gonna warm this. I'm gonna take just a little bit. So we're just gonna let that warm up. I'm gonna clean up my spill and check my, oh boy, that's really bubbling. So that's good. You want about 7 to 9 grams per cup. I like it a little bit strong. So I'm gonna put a little closer to a tablespoon, but see how fine the grind is. So it already works well for an espresso maker. So I'm gonna take a tablespoon of this coffee and I'm gonna put it in the, oh boy, I wish you guys could smell this. I'm gonna put it in a sifter right here. And so then we're gonna take it and pour the hot water over it. Got a little aggressive here on the see, I told you, it only took 4 minutes.
It took 4.
So, but that will be nice and crispy. We're gonna take this water, so we're gonna set this and we're gonna pour it like in a circular motion. It looks really tart and good. So let's do it one more time with this cup. Boy, that smells good. So I'm gonna kind of just have a little taste before I decide. It's not bitter at all. How much heavy half and half sugar and cream I want to add to it. Just a little bit of sugar for Antonio. I don't like mine quite as sweet. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of Kahlua to it. Of course, you don't have to put alcohol in it. That's probably about a tablespoon. I like to sweeten mine natural that way instead of using sugar. We are about to enjoy this with our cobbler. Okay. I'm gonna add a splash more Kahlua to it. And babe, you can see if yours is sweet enough. See what you think. Okay, so let's work on plating this. I'm gonna grab out my peaches that I sliced before. Here they are. Nice and thin, got that beautiful little red color inside them. I'm gonna grab out our ice cream. Now it's good to let the cobbler sit for a minute. All the sugars make it immensely hot. So don't worry, it's not getting cold. You know, I have a fetish about cold food. So I'm going this scoop out and make this a little hot so the ice cream will scoop better. So the ice cream's gonna go on last. Let me find my bigger scoop of this. And we are gonna take, oh, this is nice. Can you hear that crunchy top? Kind of hear it? That's from the sugar. Yeah, so we're gonna kind of break into this really sugary top. I'm actually gonna kind of flip it over like this. A little bit of peach on it like that. And then we're gonna scoop this ice cream with it. Let's get my scoop out again for a second.
And you want that crust.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, that crust is the best part.
Okay. You want to work it kind of like this. All right. Put these peaches in here. That. Oh, the beauty of it all. Uh-oh. We're starting to go. Let me get my thicker one.
That ice cream.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Okay. And right there. And it's done. All right, well, let's enjoy some
That's crazy, man. You got like 10 people.
hot peach cobbler out of the oven. We thank you all for watching. We love you. Can't wait to see you again. And try it at home. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you made it your own. I'm not offended. You know, everybody has different taste buds and everybody has great and creative ideas. But mostly I just want to inspire you to cook and love it like I do. So love you all. Good night. And we will see you next Sunday with the Since Day One family.